What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode 13 of Real Film Reviewed. Tonight I am going to review Cruella, and I'm really excited. I've been waiting for a while for it to come out on Disney+. I missed it when it was on its premiere access. So Cruella is the live-action story released in 2021. It's rated PG-13. It is 2 hours and 14 minutes long. It was directed by Craig Gillespie, starring Emma Stone, Emma Thompson, Joel Fry, and Mark Strong. And what it is it's a live-action prequel to 101 Dalmatians, our classic, following the infamous villain Cruella DeVil. So, two things. I love backstories, and I love when stories pay homage to originals, especially when they're classics that I love. And being a kid, what I remember most is Disney films and watching Disney films over and over again, especially my favorite ones. So, I watched pretty much all of the Disney movies, but one of my particular favorites was 101 Dalmatians. So there were a lot of things in there that I actually really enjoyed that they made reference to. A couple of them I won't obviously say, but a couple of them I will list, such as Anita in the movie. Her name is Anita Darling, so I always really like that because we know that was what Cruella called Anita. But there's a lot of little things like that are referenced, vehicles and things like that are referenced, that if you remember anything about the original 101 Dalmatians cartoon, some of those things are going to stand out to you. So it's pretty cool to see how they brought that story, kind of how they wove that story into her backstory, and also justified a lot of the things that, pretty much all of the things that we know about Cruella DeVil, and providing that explanation. Again, what I love about backstories is that it gives you a whole new avenue to be creative, and with a lot of different perspective and views. And I'm a villain person. You'll hear me say that throughout a lot of movies, especially once I do Star Wars week. I'll definitely talk about villains. I'm actually a big villain fan. Normally I don't want to say necessarily I go for the villain, but I do really enjoy a good bad guy and a worthy opponent. We know that the hero is going to be super strong and overcome things and all of that, but I do feel like a lot of the time the villain in the movie is always misunderstood. Sometimes, obviously what they do ends up being bad in some situations, but there is always more to the story. And what I really like is when we can elaborate on a villain's backstory specifically. So even though Cruella was, kind of a little villain in a Disney movie, this film was actually really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Emma Stone is, one thing about me that a lot of people don't know is I do actually live in Arizona. I'm from California, but I live in Arizona. And Emma Stone is kind of their local celebrity. She was from Scottsdale and she went to the schools out here, but a lot of people out here don't really care for her. And I'm like, why? She's great. She's putting you guys on the map. I love Emma Stone. So, and I love the other Emma that's in this, Emma Thompson. I've loved her ever since I saw her in Primary Colors, and I was fairly young when I saw Primary Colors. I thought she was absolutely hilarious. And I kind of felt like the character that Emma Thompson played in this movie channeled Meryl Streep's character in The Devil Wears Prada. I felt like they kind of maybe drew some inspiration from that character, kind of a little bit in both of them. Emma Stone was just wonderful as Cruella. She really made that role her own, but really paid a really good homage to the original. Actually, both. When I talk about 101 Dalmatians, I'm talking about the Walt Disney cartoon, but it did have its own live action / computer generated film as well that came out with Glenn Close. So I think Emma Stone did a really good job of paying homage to the original character, but then also kind of combining in a little bit with what Glenn Close brought to it. And then, of course, you've got Emma Thompson, who, I feel channeled that famous CEO designer, that was just kind of independent. She's the main genius brain, so pretty much what she says goes and her opinion's the only thing that matters type attitude. So really enjoyed what both of those individuals brought to the role and brought to the film. Very enjoyable. I will give this 4 stars. And thank you everyone for the listen. I'll see you next time.